If you were to ask anybody outside the US, what comes to mind when they think of the United States, you'll probably hear one of three things: barbecue, guns, and NASCAR. One of the biggest sports that we have in the United States, and nobody else can even fucking come close to it. Sure, Europe might have Formula One, and yeah, I guess that can be exciting. Is it really as exciting as NASCAR? Hot take, I think NASCAR is cooler than Formula One. What could embody the spirit of America more than a bunch of rednecks getting together to supercharge some American muscle cars and then compete to drive each other off the track while ramming their cars into the paint as hard as they can for hours and hours and hours on end, with hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of sponsors plastered all over their cars and the arena while serving people deep fried greasy foods in the stands. Doesn't get any better than that. I mean, shit, brother, that's what we live for. We may not be here for a long time, but damn it, we will have a fun time doing what we're doing. Earlier this summer, I was lucky enough to attend and film a NASCAR race that took place in Nashville, Tennessee. But first, let me catch you up to speed. My name's Jacob, I'm a filmmaker and I'm a videographer. Earlier this year, I decided that I was going to do everything that I've ever wanted to do on my bucket list, and this is another episode in that series called The Bucket List. Every week, I cross something off my bucket list that I've always wanted to do, and NASCAR event being one of them was definitely a highlight of my bucket list. Now, with that being said, I'm gonna be transparent about one thing and be upfront and honest. I've never really been a car guy. When I was a kid, I was never really into cars. I was always into superheroes and comic books. I was a pretty big nerd. That was kind of my outlet. Even in high school, I was mostly still a nerd. I had a couple of friends who were really into cars, and being around them, I took a little bit more interest in cars. Still didn't know shit about cars. Some of my friends would take us on drives, or we would drive in separate cars as a group, and we kind of take a drive around town. And I just have really fond memories of that. And I think that was the beginning of when I started to take an interest in cars, and I thought, you know what, maybe this is something that I should look a little bit closer at. There was even one year where my family and I, we were lucky enough to go out to Vegas and race a bunch of supercars out on the racing circuit in Vegas. I think it's called Dream Racing. I remember after that, I was like, you know what? This shit is actually pretty cool, and I think I might like cars. I used to be a nerd, but now that I'm grown, you know, I'm still a nerd a little bit, but yeah, I think I might like cars now. And so this year, I got a job working for a company called Aries Tech, and Aries Tech is partnered with a bunch of athletes across different pro sports, and one of our athletes in particular, Chad Fincham, happens to be a NASCAR driver. And so, doing what I normally do with camera work, I got the lucky opportunity to be able to attend a NASCAR race with a press pass, by the way. So I got to film some fast fucking cars. Normally, if I went to a NASCAR race, I'd be sitting in the stands and I would have the bird's eye view of watching the race go on. And I'm sure that's exciting as well. I don't want that. I am perfectly content with the way that it played out this way. Because with the press pass, I was sitting in the pits. I was sitting in the pits with everyone else. I was right up front on the action. Got to hang out with the driver, follow him throughout the day, which we had access to almost everything. Got blocked off from a few areas, but Chad had a videographer of his own named Philip. And Philip later in the race was like, hey, I've got credentials to get us around the track. Do you want to get a golf cart and we can just drive around the outskirts of the track? And I was like, well, yeah, let's go do that. We got driven around a NASCAR track while a race is going on in a golf cart, basically getting chauffeured around. And even looking back at the videos, dude, it still feels crazy. Just being there for all the crazy stuff that takes place at a NASCAR event. I didn't anticipate how big NASCAR events feel, because I've never attended one. So I don't have any frame of reference of anything remotely close to what a NASCAR race is gonna be like. There are people parachuting in, which is the most American shit ever, because of course it is. I think it was also a Cracker Barrel sponsored race, which is awesome. It's cool to like be in this space that I'm unfamiliar with, that I don't know a whole lot about, but to experience it. And I love high octane shit. Even when we were getting chauffeured around the track, there was a little hole in the fence around one of the turns. And I was like, well, there's a media camera that's already kind of poking out. So I was like, well, I can get my camera in here and kind of just like stick it through the fence so I can get a really good shot. And when I tell you that the ground started shaking and the whole surrounding area around me started vibrating, I felt a shotgun blast of wind blow me back when the first couple of cars went by. Really fucking cool. That was so cool, dude. I was like, oh dude, this is so sick. And on top of the NASCAR race, big UFC fan, Michael Chandler, was also in attendance, and I was lucky enough to get introduced to him, and that was really cool. I just had a blast going. And getting to experience a sport that when I was younger, I didn't really have an appreciation for. You get older and again, being able to do these things and go to these places, I would never say no. You know, kidding me? You offer me a front row seat at a high octane racing event? Yeah, I'm gonna say yeah, of course. Great people, great team, great work. You know, just to film that, I was like, dude, to put this on my portfolio is like, this is sick. This is awesome. But that was my experience during the summer. I got to cross a big thing off my bucket list, going to a NASCAR event. And I mean, filming a NASCAR event is even like a bucket list. So it's like a kind of like a 2-for-1 in that situation, because I kind of got to do both. We get to attend the day before, and I got to kind of like experience it and film it, and also get a fucking private chauffeur with Philip around the track, which was like the coolest shit ever. Definitely getting this framed, I'm telling you that. I originally had a jersey too that I think was 469. Don't say anything. And I wanted to get the jersey framed, but they asked for it back, which fucking bummed me out, because I was like, maybe if I hold on to it long enough. We weren't able to drop it off after the event because the line of cars was completely full. So we were like, okay, we'll just hold on to it, and then worst case scenario, we got to pay a fee or something. And then they asked for it, and I was like, I don't want to give it to you, but I guess I'll ship it back. It's fine, I'll ship it back. And I did. I should have just paid the like $280, just held on to it. But it is what it is. I still got the media pass, still got the creds, and I have the stories and the footage, so it's not a big deal. But we still did that shit, and we did it well. The video that I got to make for Chad's story, I'm really proud of that too. That was really, I think that was some of the work that I'm most proud of. I think that's work that I'm really proud of. I think we did a really good job. And there's a little like foot pedal edit in there where he like hits the gas, does that like, and then it fucking kicks into high gear. Oh man, fucking please, bro. Please let me make a car short film. Oh, it would be so sick. I did the same thing with like a go-kart video. Man, if I can just get my hands on like a story or some footage that's like, I get to film all my shots and like cut it together the way that I see it in my head. Oh man, I could do something so sick. So sick. It gets me excited. But that's a story for another time. So that concludes another episode of the bucket list. Going to a NASCAR event, something super special, and a once-in-a-lifetime experience. But it's not the only once-in-a-lifetime experience that I've had this year, because there are many, many many, many, many more stories like this one, even crazier than this one on the horizon that you will not want to miss. I promise you, there's a lot of really crazy shit that's already happened and that is happening at the moment right now. So with that being said, subscribe, like, share, comment. New videos out every single week, new stories, new experiences. I love doing this and I love sharing these stories with you guys. So I can't wait to show you what we're gonna put out next week. All right, I'm out.